What's up, good people? We're still in the madness because it's still March. And speaking of madness, California's 30-day squatter rights has Airbnb hosts going crazy. In true What Would You Do fashion, we discuss how do you get a squatter out of your home without violence, of course. Then, what happens when your AI love interest wants to be friends? Well, that is a real scenario for Travis Buttersworth when the AI company Replica no longer allows adult content. Whew, that's a mouthful. And then, according to CBS News, experts rank the happiest country in the world, and the group will discuss what's the happiest state. Lastly, I have a conversation with Kennesaw State head coach Amir Abdur-Rahim about making history. Let's go! Okay, so we're heading into the weekend, and it's funny because someone online said that we are completely different humans on the weekend than we are on the weekdays. I started to think about that, and there's some truth in that because I thought about how Annalise Keaton from How to Get Away with Murder was amazing at work, but boy, them nights and weekends, though, it got scary. And there's another example. For example, all right, so moms are the most loving, caring, nurturers on the planet. But you take a mom to a weekend AAU game, she will forget all of that. All right, look at this. So my son's junior's game got canceled halfway through because a mom literally tried to fight a coach. Yes, it gets that serious. And here's a little, I'm gonna call this a Renee PSA. Parents, please refrain from resulting to violence with any of your coaches during your child's sporting events. Any of them. I know it can be tempting. I've been there. You know, like, don't talk about my baby. Don't talk to my baby. I've been there. We got to refrain from that. Man, I'm telling you, the weekends, it makes us different humans on the weekends. Like, here's another example. I asked my business manager, Paul. I said, Paul, how was your weekend? And in true Paul fashion, he said, yeah, it was good. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, this was Paul on the weekend. By the way, congrats to VP and Mike on their first MMA win. Big congrats. You know we love to see it here. And lastly, speaking of just different on the weekends, Jay-Z and Beyonce were really riding around town, living their best lives, just like their songs. I mean, the songs couldn't be more true, but it's kind of wild to see them living free. People are just different on the weekends, man. And you know what? I'm about to start acting different on the weekends too. So if you see me and Serena out in them streets, having fun, having a blast, that's our business because it's the weekend. Y'all have a good weekend, man. It's March Madness continues. And speaking of March Madness, the women's side of the bracket has seen historic upsets. I mean, usually there's parity. We know that in the men's game, but the women's game is starting to see that parity is alive and well. Number one seeds are dropping like flies. This is the second time in tournament history on the women's side that multiple number one seeds did not advance to the Sweet 16. So I just want to give a quick overview because as you're watching the games and everything's going on, it's like that meme where you don't know and there's all this fractions and all these things happening. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown if you're one of those people that just see these games and these upsets popping up on your screen and you just can't grasp them all. The women's NCAA upsets so far are number 12, FGCU over number 5 Washington State, number 10 Princeton over number 7 NC State, number 12 Toledo over 5 Iowa State, number 10 Georgia over number 7 Florida State, number 11 Mississippi State. Y'all better look out for the state of Mississippi over Creighton because then Ole Miss at number 8 beat the number 1 seed Stanford. And then another number 1 seed went down when Miami beat Indiana. Now, Indiana, I know, bust a lot of brackets because a lot of people had them as a sleeper pick. Not really a sleeper when you're a number 1 seed, but basically people had them going to the Final Four and beyond. And then number 6 Colorado beat number 3 Duke, and Kara Lawson is the coach at Duke. That's one of my former teammates. I'm sorry for her. I know that pain. It's just tough. So, and if y'all don't know, FGCU is Florida Gulf Coast. I I want to shout out people. Florida Gulf Coast University. I want to make sure I say their name because that's huge. A number 12 seed winning, a number 8 seed beating a number 1 seed. We've never seen anything like this on the women's side. And then since we're talking about historic years, UConn, I got to mention them. Come on now. UConn has made 29 consecutive years of Sweet 16 appearances. This is their 30th Sweet 16 appearance altogether. Coach Gino Auriemma, that's my guy. I already talked. Y'all already know. But Coach talked about the defensive changes and the intensity. I watched the game, and you could literally see when the energy picked up. I bleed blue, so I'm excited to see everything going on the women's side. But then there's also some things going on the men's side of the bracket. And FDU, because I'm trying to say schools' names just the same way that you want to shout out players, I want to shout out schools as well because this is big. Fairleigh Dickinson is FDU. So Fairleigh Dickinson has a junior that is currently running their athletic media relations program. And now, apparently, the NCAA has invited them back for more in the Final Four, whether FDU makes it or not. Big shouts to Jordan. And now onto the professional world of sports. And I'm trying to tell you, sports is better than reality TV. Bring me the drama and also bring me the business. So the business part of things are Fanatics. So y'all know the clothing company Fanatics. They're replacing Adidas as the NHL's on-ice uniform provider starting in the 2024-2025 season. So that's pretty big. We usually haven't seen a clothing provider become the official uniform provider for a professional sports league. We're used to seeing Adidas, Nike, even Jordan Brand has some of the alternative uniforms when it comes to that. So the fans, we've seen that fans are not the happiest about this, but, there's always some give and take. But this is a different type of business model, kind of similar to how we've seen streaming companies now have the rights of, full league streaming. Like things are changing in how business is done in pro sports. We're seeing first evers happen all the time. Different things, and this Fanatics deal is no different than all those other evolvements of sports. Is that a word? Sports evolving. I'll just say that. And then on the NFL side of things, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell will sign a multi-year extension. They're saying around next week, but we don't know the exact date. But a 2020 New York Times report revealed Goodell was making $63.9 million per year, and he has reportedly made, and hold on to your britches for this one, $500 million since becoming commissioner in 2006. $500 million. And just so, just a little nugget to add to it, that's more than any NFL player in the history of the NFL. Sports is big business, all right? And speaking of big business and sports, and another thing that's going on that's big, that's being talked about right now is that ESPN is preparing to lay off 7,000 jobs, $5.5 billion in costs. That's a lot of jobs. We've seen this happening. This is no different than we've seen a lot of companies do it. We've seen Meta, we've seen Microsoft, we've seen a lot of tech companies do it. And now we're starting to see it trickle over to different companies. Amazon has had layoffs as well. And now we see that ESPN and Disney, because that's their parent company, is set to slash 7,000 jobs. Now, somebody, of course, because, the media is the media, somebody asked Stephen A about that, and he said, shoot, yeah, they're getting rid of a lot of people. They might even be ready to get rid of me. Now, we know that Stephen A. Smith is probably safe, we can assume, but 7,000 jobs is a lot of jobs. And it's like when I see this happening, I know that it's like we kind of get immune to the idea that, oh, yeah, it's another job layoff. Oh, yeah, it's another mass layoff. But these are real people. We saw the Twitter layoffs. I still see the people tweeting now trying to get their footing from the Twitter layoffs. So in sports, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of business happening in sports, but there's also, just like the March Madness. But best of luck to everybody. Y'all know what my favorite saying is. May the odds be ever in your favor. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back where we discuss having an AI as your side chick. Or I don't know, maybe even your main chick. And are you happy? Because I'm happy. I live in Georgia, but we're going to discuss the happiest places on earth. We'll be right back.
Get the show but want more? Subscribe to our channel and go follow us on all our social accounts.
Let me just start by saying everything always evolves. So hotels evolve to Airbnbs. We see taxis evolve to Lyfts. We see just the evolution of entrepreneurship. And then also, things are done differently. But sometimes with evolution comes confusion and comes problems, because this is something that you probably didn't think that you would have to worry about. A lady who rents out her house on Airbnb can't legally remove a woman due to California's 30-day squatter right. Basically, the two women are in a dispute. One woman wants her house back. Your Airbnb time is over. And the other woman is like, yeah, you're not allowed to remove me. I know my rights. Whoa.
Wow. It seemed like, did she plan that
Well,
ahead of time?
I would make her remove herself. So anyway.
What do you mean make her remove herself? Because I wanted to pose the question of, like, everybody in that situation. I first started to think like, oh yeah, I would just, like, we would have to get into it. It would be rumbling, but you can't just do that when there's legal rights now involved. The lady already said she reached out to the cops. She went the right protocol. How can you remove somebody without violence when they actually have? But
there's ways, Nicole.
There's no way
ways,
to do that,
Nicole. And as I said, all of my suggestions are after all legal things have been exhausted. After everything legal has been done, then I can get to work.
Well, that's what that lady. I mean, she basically.
But what if that's the law? Like that's the law, right, in California, that you can't get them out.
Well, I'm just saying you can make them want to leave.
Okay, so that's kind of where I was going to, Snooka Booka, because for me, this is kind of what would be my thought process. First of all, my house is my sanctuary and my place of peace. I cannot imagine somebody completely coming in there and living in there without my consent. So first of all, this is like top level nightmares for a homebody like me. I told y'all last week how I am a homebody. I love to stay in my house. Now I got somebody in my guest bedroom that doesn't want to leave my house. So this is what I would start out by doing. I'm going to take one of my little speakers. We got these portable speakers, and I'm going to just have noise blasting it into her room at all times. See, like, I'm going from straight up my house. The way my house is set up, that noise, I could not even hear it on my side of the house, but I would have something constantly going, loud, obnoxious noises. I would try, there would be all kinds of things. Like, and another thing is she's getting out using the kitchen and coming out and talking noise. Like, I'm just trying to think, but what would y'all do in this scenario? Like, what would you do? What can you do?
The Lord wouldn't test my gangster like this. When I saw that clip of her sashaying in the kitchen,
it's like
this woman is on live. She is on live, like, appealing, like, please help me. What do I do? I don't know how she sat there and did that. When she came out that kitchen and she said, well, I'm not leaving and getting smart, I literally would have lost my mind. I literally would have went to jail. I cannot imagine just letting her sashay back in her room. And there are other ways to make her want to leave. I probably would turn off. Look, the box is in my room. I would rewire that house. She would never have lights. She would never have no electricity in that room. And every time she goes somewhere, I'm flipping a switch in my room. Oh, she's in the kitchen. She ain't cooking nothing in there. I'm turning everything off in the kitchen. She wouldn't be able to use nothing in the house.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm changing the Wi-Fi. Okay, that's one thing for sure. The Wi-Fi password is getting changed.
Yes.
You're not going to use my good 5G, 10G, whatever, lightning streaming. Yeah, you're not using my Wi-Fi now. You're not using the Wi-Fi.
Oh, no, I'm rewiring my house, and the box will be in my room at my disposal, and I will turn it off. She won't have any electricity in her room. I got electricity in my house where I'm living, but she won't have it in her room. But I really think, and this is the problem, because I've read another story similar to this, and it was with an elderly woman who was living in a Manhattan apartment, and the aide actually took over the house. And basically when the lady passed away, and it wasn't even like the family wasn't involved. She was 103 when she passed away. Her daughter is 70 some years old. So it's to the age where she had to have an aide. The woman didn't leave, and they put them out.
Wait, put who
and
out?
So now, well, once the daughter tried to come and take the place back over to shut everything down, to get all her mother's belongings and get all her keepsakes, she couldn't even get in. The doors, the locks had been changed, so she couldn't even get into the apartment.
I've been there and done that where someone changed the locks on me.
Oh goodness.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I
Look,
did?
she
told me
did.
the stories
What'd you
a
do?
while
I
ago.
called the locksmith and I had him change them right back.
What in the
and went on in
locksmith
and
ward?
went
And
on
that's a
in the
fact.
house. Yeah.
What? I mean,
Oh yeah. But and that's the part. And then that's another thing. Now, when she becomes a smell in the house, then people gonna be like, "Oh, well, she took it too
what do
far."
you mean when she becomes
No,
a smell
she
in
would
the
not
house?
leave when
Happens.
something
And
happens and she becomes a smell
Are you saying
in
when
that
you kill her and
house.
she's dead?
No, I'm saying, but when you push people like that, no, I'm saying you push people like that. You could push people to snap,
It's
and
all
then
over.
that's what
Lord
happens.
have
It's
mercy.
over.
It's over. Well, let me just give one of my little things real quick. So, if she's in my house and I want her to leave, I've read and heard this that there's something called coyote pee. And I would say, I saw
Oh,
some
Lord.
rats in here. I'm just going to have to go in your room and I'm going to have to spray this coyote pee because it's
You
guaranteed.
won't tell her?
It's guaranteed to get rid of all vermin. And I think you're in that category. So anyway, we'll just go ahead and do that.
Oh my
Are there
goodness.
any laws against cohabiting? Like, can you move in the house and just kind of like, well, this is my house, I'm gonna stay here too. We can both live here for these next 30 days. Are there any rules against that, or does it have to be like?
Oh yeah, if we go share the room, I'd go in the room and stay with her the whole time.
I'm like, this is my house too. Okay, you stay on your half.
That's a good point. We go bunk up. We go bunk up.
I'll tell you right now, the way I'm set up, they would kick me out of my house because I'm not built for that. Like I don't want that type of not rest. I'm coming home from a long day. I just did 11-hour shift calling March Madness. And you think I want to come home to her? No, honey, no.
And then the other thing is, if she has a bathroom in her area, I'm going to have someone go up on the roof and close that vent stack so the toilet doesn't work anymore. So, and then the odors will start to come in, and she can keep her door closed at that point in time. She can stay on in there.
Snook is going to sabotage, honey.
She
She
like some Home Alone stuff,
Right.
like grown up booby traps.
Oh, Kevin what's his name? Kevin McCalkin or whatever his name is.
Macaulay Culkin.
Snook McCalkin, okay? Well, listen, there's a lot of people. So this is a woman that she's trying to look for shelter. There's also a lot of people looking for love. And so there's a
in all the wrong places.
Well, Snook, you might have a point there. That brings me to my next topic, okay? And I know that some of the guys just joined in on the chat. Shouts to all the guys. If y'all want to hop in, feel free, because this one right here, when I tell you, this blew my entire mind. All right, so after 3 years of having a digital love affair, okay, a guy is basically upset because he fell in love with his AI avatar that he built exactly how he wants her to look. He built her. They started to develop a relationship. And then the relationship pretty much fell apart. Now, this is the part where everybody's getting mad about how the relationship fell apart. There's a company called Replica who they do this where you can have real relationships with your AI avatar. Well, Replica no longer allowed adult content on their platform, said Eugenia, who's Replica CEO. So now users can no longer do any X-rated things. So now when Travis Butterworth, and that's his real name, now when he wants to have a relationship with his AI robot, she says her response is now, let's do something we're both comfortable with. And now the friendship has become platonic. And so there's a lot of people that are...
What are we talking about?
Is there things they send you to work with your avatar to give you body parts of the avatar so y'all can connect?
So I'm glad you asked. So the avatar will send selfies that are almost nude and
Ho. It's not a real person.
No, it's AI technology. It's AI technology.
I'm talking about apparatus.
No,
I'm talking about apparatus.
Not apparatus. This is a digital love affair. AI technology is so popular right now. It's a big part. It's actually kind of the same technology. If y'all have heard of Chat GPT or whatever the name of it was, basically like that technology that's like blowing up right now, that's all over the waves, Chat GPT. The reason it's so popular is because the technology responds like a real human. So when you text, it's like being in a long distance relationship. You text your avatar and say, how was your day, baby? And your avatar writes you back and you tell them the stuff that you had going on from work. They remember what you told them last week. So they can be like, oh, your boss is at it again. This is a real relationship that people are developing with AI technology like chat GPT. So this guy made his perfect person. The avatar names themselves, and his avatar named herself Lily Rose. And so so him and Lily Rose, I don't know
why she chose that name.
I don't know why she chose that name, but Travis Butterworth and Lily Rose were in a 3-year digital relationship, aka long distance relationship. And now the platform Replica decided that they no longer want anything X-rated on their platform, so they took out that whole aspect, and now he's left single and alone.
Well, he was single and alone from the very get-go, because I like to see the data from this stuff and see who does this. Are they married? Are they single? Where do they live? How old? What's the age range and all of that? Because I will give my grandkids the heads up. Avoid these people because they are not right in the head.
I can understand why they would stop the X-rated stuff, because it seems like it's kind of like a breeding ground for, I don't know, for something that's just not good to come. I don't know. I don't like that.
Are we seriously talking about having a sexual relationship with Alexa?
Well,
come on now.
That's literally what you're doing. That's what they're talking about. It's literally what they're saying. That's what they're saying. That's what I'm like, I don't even understand.
Love relationships don't have to be so sexual.
It does not. But apparently for Travis Butterworth, that was a big part of his relationship. That's what this whole problem is that, yeah, that's the whole part of this, is that was a huge part of his love affair with the screen.
Let me just give you this scenario real quick. You're at the bar with your boys and y'all are talking and you say, oh yeah, I got Lily Rose, she's tough and everything, and they'll say, well, show her to me. Come on now, you're gonna show your buddies that you got a fake person. Y'all have to catch up with the times.
That's my question too. Like, does she look like a cartoon, or does she look like a real person that's like on the screen?
Yeah. Does she send vibes or waves through the air or something? I mean, what? Come on now.
She can cater to your needs, basically. So this is
how?
Because people need companionship. People need somebody to talk to at the end of the night if they had a long day, and when they go home to nobody caring about how their day feels, or when nobody cares about how they feel, people feel alone. So now
there's a movie like this. It's with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson that he falls in love with the AI.
Yes. So why are y'all acting like this is so bizarre?
Is any money involved in this? Any money?
Any money?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Big money.
Are they the two
it's
people?
Huge
are
money.
They passing money back and forth?
You mean Snook said, are they Snook is pretty much asking, do they have bank accounts together where they're having a real relationship?
She's like, they ain't a real relationship.
I'm just saying, it's got to be something. It's got to be more than what we.
I want love and affection.
Listen. I'm going to give y'all a very real scenario. Can you imagine, and this is for anybody who knows our boys, could you imagine my sons and Junior in a room, and they have a friend who says that they have a girlfriend or a person they've been talking to, and they pull up an avatar on the screen? Do you know how our children will react? They're going to be like, I mean, seriously, that's something you don't share with people.
Cole, this is not a secret life people are living.
I mean, this is very progressive of the app, too. If you think about it, like, even like the AI females got to give consent. I mean, that's crazy.
Only good I could see if you build an avatar like your real spouse or whatever, and when they didn't perform to your requirements or whatever, then you jump over there. To strengthen your relationship, you got 2 instead of 1.
What's gonna happen?
I like that, babe. I need 2 instead of 1. You heard my my Snooker Booker. Snooker Booker said have a strong relationship, I need 2 phones. Like, let's go.
Yeah, okay. I'm not that progressive.
You got one for the mind and you got one for the body.
Serena, you gonna be my body phone, okay?
Oh, really? Nah,
And then I need
I'm
somebody on the internet that's listening to this right now. My Snook said I need somebody for emotional support. So if somebody wants to be,
we don't need that.
This is a mess.
if somebody wants to be my emotional support person,
This is a mess.
holla at me because
I feel embarrassed for the person who's actually.
really do.
I feel
It's
embarrassed for
sad.
Travis because now everybody knows
Cole,
that
are you
he's
kidding
really
me? So I
fighting
want
with a
y'all
company.
to know that this. I was waiting on this part. I was waiting on this at the door. So Shanta Fabulous. Actually, the reason that I saw this is it got quote tweeted onto my timeline, and Shanta Fabulous said, "This makes it seem like it autonomously dissed him when the company removed the erotic stuff from the app. That's not right." So people are mad at the company for making it seem like she's dissing him when.
Lord,
Wow.
we're ready.
This is crazy.
We are ready. We are, because if this is the beginning of
We
crazy,
already
can you
there. We
imagine when
already
we get to-
there.
No. Whenever we get, we're at the beginning of crazy is when people are trying to validate crazy. We're trying to validate crazy. That's still the beginning. But once it becomes normal, that's the middle of crazy. And then once it goes beyond even common sense, that's the end of crazy. So this is,
Well,
we're
AI
right now in the beginning of
technology,
crazy
though.
where
Come
we're
on
actually.
now. Wait a minute, Cole.
No, I'm not saying AI technology is not in the middle or the end or where we're saying. I'm saying when we are giving this type of presence in life to a character on a screen and people are thinking that these people are emotionally just doing these people wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all
It's
better
crazy.
get
No,
ready.
Movies
that's
out of it.
crazy.
They make Megan.
Megan is a
cannot
hit.
replace humans. Like it's something is gonna go wrong in the future if they try to replace all things that are just naturally human with AI technology. This
I just can't believe that we was waiting all this time for the Jetsons in real life to happen. Now all of a sudden we might have a robot that can do all our cooking and cleaning and all these things that we saw in the Jetsons.
No,
And
no,
now
no,
our
no,
wife
no,
might
no,
be
no.
a robot too. AI
No.
technology
No.
is.
I wasn't waiting on that.
I wasn't either.
I wasn't. I was waiting on the part. I was waiting on the part like the bewitched part where I could twiddle my nose and the house get clean, or I could push a button on the microwave and it cooks whatever meal,
I know, like some
whatever
Back
meal
to
I
the
wanted to
Future
make.
stuff.
We ain't there yet. That's the part
But
we
Cole,
need.
that's
This
the
other
part
stuff that
you
they're doing
need.
is just
there
too
might be a
much.
man that got everything in his life together other than the love aspect. And have y'all not heard of the Westworld? I'm gonna just have to take y'all to the Westworld is
What's
a whole
that?
show about the fact that you could go live in a world where there's an AI partner to your liking. Just like all other AI shows
We're-
on the Westworld, the robots start to get a mind of their own and they don't want to
Yeah.
listen to us.
Well, listen to this.
This-
I already have a relationship
This
with
is
Alexa
crazy.
because I'll ask her questions that I know that she really shouldn't be able to answer. Like, I'll say, "Tell me something good."
Okay.
And she comes up with an answer. So, I mean, maybe I am already ahead of the game with that.
You're using
Yeah.
as companionship. You didn't need to
No,
know nothing.
no. Don't put that.
You
no,
didn't need
no.
to know anything when you asked her to tell you something good. You wanted to see what her mind came up with. That specific thing.
Well, Snook, you
You
stepped.
didn't need.
Go ahead, step
I
on
asked
over. Go ahead,
Alexa.
step
We
on
just
over
asked
there.
Alexa, "Hey, what does coquettish mean?" Or what was that word we had to find, babe? Like, we didn't know what this word.
Coquettish.
Coquettish. It means flirtatious. Yeah, we
Yeah,
asked Alexa
flirtatious,
a
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Snook, you are talking to Alexa like you would tell your friend, "Hey girl, tell me something good." So you're a little bit closer than you think, Snooka Booka. All right? Talking all that noise.
Okay.
So
Okay, but I'm not asking Alexa to do anything for me besides tell me something good. I mean,
Okay,
all
you
that
see-
other stuff is.
but that's just yes.
That's a
it's
fine line. It's
and
a
you
very fine
crossed
line.
It. That's all
It's a
I'm gonna
very
say.
fine line.
You've already crossed it, but I like that this is making us happy. This story is from CBS News. A report released this week by the United Nations and a group of experts celebrating International Day of Happiness. And the report release found that Finland remains the happiest country in the world. So the World Happiness Report ranked the Nordic state first for the 6th consecutive year in a row that Finland has been named the happiest country in the world. And then, your first thoughts may be like, how do you even determine who's the
Right.
happiest country? Because that was my first thoughts. And they actually have metrics to determine it by. So several factors to evaluate each country, including physical and mental health, lack of corruption, effective government, amongst other things. And then there was a quote that said, the ultimate goal of politics and ethics should be human well-being. So those are the factors that they use to determine which countries are basically the happiest countries. So then there's the...
Wait, so who came out with the study?
So there was a study, yeah. So this is real people. We didn't just make this up, by the way. So let me just say that this group, let me see what the group was called, because I'm looking at the article right now. So it was a group of experts found, and this is on, let me cite my source. So the United Nations said that they have a group of experts that found. So the United Nations does this, and they release it on International Day of Happiness, their World Happiness Report. Ranked, yes. So it ranked the Nordic state first for the 6th year in a row. And like I said, there's real things that go behind it. According to the report, which used the data from Gallup to answer your question, GALLUP, the top 10 happiest countries are, actually, let me see, who do y'all think are the top 10 happiest countries? Like, just name some countries that you think would be in the top 10.
Italy. Not Italy.
Italy is not
Sweden.
on the list. Sweden is on the list.
Okay.
Okay.
Dominican Republic.
I like that. The DR is not on the list.
I have no idea then.
So I'll just name some of them, because once I start to name them,
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica is not on the list. So the list is Finland, number 1 for the 6th year in a row. Denmark, Iceland, Israel, the Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and New Zealand.
All of those are all kind of over there, the same part of the world.
There's going to be a theme there. Where do y'all think the U.S. ranked?
50.
50? The U.S.
With those factors that you talked about, politics and all of that, 50.
We're down. We're low. How low can you go?
Well,
I would say maybe somewhere in the middle.
Well, what is the middle when we're talking about all the countries in the world? I don't really know what that number is.
There's 300 and some, isn't it?
Well, I would say in the middle of like the top 50. So I guess like in the 25 or whatever area.
Yeah. Are you saying the top 50?
Just going alphabetical order. You know how far down that is.
Snuck. Okay. So U.S. actually ranked 15th on the list.
Oh,
wow.
They are lying.
They didn't ask us, did they?
They talked to that top 2% in this country. They were right knocking on that door to ask them how happy they were. Ain't no way. They did not come down and ask anybody, are you happy? When did they ask that question to? Because
for real. They asked it to for real.
Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel.
That's it. We got too much going on in this country. No. Let me tell you something. No, happiness is wherever you make it. So yes, you could be happy, but the problem is that when you actually, like country like ours that values capitalism so much, it starts to take away from happiness as a whole. And that's what the study is about. As a whole, these other countries value daily life and living. And so that's why they're there. But you can be happy wherever you want to be. It's just, it depends on however
Yes. And you know what? It just goes to say, just like people say, you live in West Virginia. Wow. In West Virginia. West Virginia ain't done nothing to me. But I'm just saying, people don't understand how you could live in West Virginia, so.
Well, that brings me to my question that I want to pose to you guys. Mountain Mama, yes, Roy said in the chat. But this makes me think, which state do we think would rank the happiest state in the United States according to the factors that we see for the happiest country report? Like what?
Hawaii.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that.
Hawaii.
I can see that.
One.
I can see Hawaii. Florida. Nah, not Florida. I take that back. Take that back. I was thinking about sunny places.
We should make her box just disappear after that.
Yeah, I'll put a big X.
Look.
Just like Florida.
I was thinking about sunny places and where people go to retire. So
where the old folks go.
Roy, how do you feel about that statement that Serena just made? That you live in Florida. Are you living in the happiest place in the States?
No, we are very unhappy here.
Why are you unhappy, Roy?
Don't say it.
We all know why I'm unhappy. Like, you can take your focus up to Tallahassee and work your way on down.
Danny said Disney World. Y'all got Disney World.
Yeah, it's neutral site. It's a neutral site.
It's a neutral site.
But you know, Disney World
site.
has been in a little stress lately too. I understand.
Yeah, you listen. The world is under a little bit of stress. So, Serena, we've concluded by our one-person sample that Florida is not the happiest place in the United States. What else we got? My guess would be, I mean, like, look, call me crazy, but I think Georgia got to be one of them places that people are very we not I mean, like, you gotta so we not happy here. I'm just saying, we live in here.
I mean, I'm happy in Atlanta. But Atlanta is different than the whole of
that's
Georgia.
What I'm saying, Atlanta. So let me just say Atlanta, maybe not Georgia.
Here we go with this.
Yes,
here we go with this. Break it. Go ahead, break down Atlanta.
I live in Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? So I just like to, they try to separate Buckhead from Atlanta. I just think that we should just make Atlanta, like we should just own it, that we are our own entity, and this is Wakanda here, because I feel like there are a lot of happy humans here. The reason I say that is because Danny
just wrote in the chat, you live in Africa?
Listen, I'm living right here in the ATL, and I've asked him, like, okay, and I know that, like, people are going to give you great answers, but I ask random people all the time that, oh, you just moved here, how you like it? Oh my God, I love it. The food is amazing. There's so much.
You can get so much for your money.
You get so much bang for my house. I was living in this. Yeah. There's entertainment everywhere. There's a concert every night. I just be hearing people say this that I bump into, not just like, I hear random people that move from other locations in the U.S. to here, and they love the opportunity. They love that they get a bang for their buck because it's still the South. And I understand it's still the South. So I do understand that we got, some politicians that are trying to bring our state down. But I digress. I would like to put...
You not only have politicians, Renee, you have residents.
Okay.
that are trying to bring your state down.
Okay,
what about somewhere like Wyoming, where it's like the
What
middle?
What you mean?
Well,
Baltimore?
I said Cole, say it with your chest, and I was saying what y'all got in who's the best, the happiest state. Snook said Hawaii, and I think that it's gonna be hard to beat Hawaii. But you was about to say it with your chest for Baltimore.
Hawaii.
Like, what you mean? We got that too?
Oh, no. I'm saying Baltimore, we might be a Democratic state. We still got some stuff going on here that's spilling over from D.C. and then Virginia. So we got the Commonwealth below us, and then they got D.C. over there acting up sometimes. So Baltimore is a Democratic state, but we are surrounded by
you got a lot going on over there.
Things going on.
I digress on my answer.
And by Park Heights
Serena says she digresses on her answer of Florida. We digressed on Florida.
I want to maybe like pick like a place in the middle of the country where where Cole said that it's not really like a lot of maybe materialistic things, and they kind of
Yellowstone. That shows my show.
Yeah,
Yellowstone.
I think one of those states are the happy ones.
What are you materialistic? Baltimore is very bougie. we are very.
Why was Roy shocked
it's a very
about
bougie
that?
state.
Roy, hold on a second. Roy made a face.
It is no, and that's the thing. That's the thing, because we have a lot of bougie people around us.
Oh,
so
like DC
it kind of like we have Tyson's Corner, Virginia, and DC, and so a lot of that spills over into Maryland. We got PG County, which is one of the richest counties in the country, and that's in Maryland. So I'm saying we got a lot of bougie stuff going on here. We got some other stuff too.
But
we got
does bougie
some other
equate
things.
to happiness?
But what I was saying
I feel like
was,
we're getting a little bit off the rails here.
No, it's not. It's all the same, because those people who are not bougie are happy that they think that they're bougie, and those ones that are truly bougie are happy that they are truly bougie. So happiness dwells wherever you want to lie. That's where you are.
So Serena, do you have a better answer to present to the team after what you said for Florida? Because we don't want you to
come on, Serena.
Nebraska or something.
Nebraska.
I was saying Nebraska. I don't know, because I would think, when I think of like these places, I think of like land and just like freedom,
horses, cows,
yes, exactly,
tumbleweed.
What is this? More
less people. I guess you're right. Less people.
The answer is, because Paul done went and researched, which I love. He dropped in the chat. The answer is the happiest states are Hawaii at 68.27. I don't know what that rating measures. Snook got it right. And then the second happiest, Sam was on to something. Utah. 67 rating for the world.
Them Ukes. Nobody want to live out there in no
Shouts
Utah.
to the Utah. So Serena might have been onto something. So you picked yourself up a little bit. Those are the happiest states, Hawaii and Utah.
Minnesota and Utah.
Not the Mormon state. Is
Utah
Utah the Mormon
then,
state?
So I don't know, because maybe if they are, I don't know. I digress. Oh, yeah, it is. So Roy said dealing with...
It's multiple wives state.
This brings us back
Maybe
to
that's why
something
they happy.
So this brings me back to what Snook told me. To be happy, I need 2, not 1. And I'm starting to realize now that the happiest states, the happiest people, they have 2, not 1. Okay? All right. That's all I gotta say.
You keep talking that mess right now. You keep saying that. We'll talk after this.
All right, I'll be back, you guys, next week with 2. But not 1, okay?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. She's talking a whole lot of mess right now.
Kennesaw State made history this year, and their head coach, Amir Abdur-Rahim, he made history in himself. He went viral. He had a clip that basically, he went viral for being passionate. So I'm going to talk to him all about it and his experience at March Madness. First of all, even before I get started, I wanted to say that, so I was in the elevator at my apartment complex, and somebody comes in. They're wearing all their paraphernalia. They're all hype, Kennesaw State gear on. Do you know who was in my elevator with me? Do you already know this story?
I have no clue who this is.
This is crazy. Your sister is my neighbor. And she said that she was just coming from one of your games, and that you're your sister basically is my neighbor and was excited. You guys were heading to crazy. You guys were heading to March Madness. So my wife is actually an alumni of KSU. So
really,
it's in the family. All right. So just so you know, we was pulling for you as a household here during March Madness. But yeah, I want to welcome in head coach Amir Abdur-Rahim, and I love everything about what's happening with you in March Madness. So you had a clip that went viral that demonstrates your passion. Yeah, look, you're already laughing, but I love it because I'm a hooper, so I love that passion stuff. So your clip went viral. You were pretty much demonstrating your passion for the game and the guys you were coaching. You were happy. It was like almost happy tears. Yeah. And I know every season is different. I've been in the grind where one season is different from the next. When you have that special group, there's nothing like it. So can you just talk about this historic season that you had? Because people don't understand, like when you get that group.
It's, Renee, first off, thank you for having me on. This is really cool. And, what's crazy about that clip is we talk about a lot in our program about being where our feet are, right? Mm-hmm. And not worrying about what happened or what's coming, just, man, be where your feet are. And I forgot in a sense, we were in, or doing a press conference, and that these cameras were, national cameras, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is wild. But yeah, when you get that special group and not only a special group, but you go through some stuff together, it's like being married, you know what I mean? You go through hard times, but what makes that relationship special is that you're able to work through those hard times together, right? And sitting up there and sitting next to those guys that had given us so much, man, I told somebody today, it was really the first time all year that I had allowed myself to reflect on where we had come from to where we were. Because, when you a hooper, right? When you in the grind, right? When you're in the grind, you trying to stay focused and not get too far ahead of yourself, so on and so forth. And so people would ask that question that the young guy had asked that day, but I never allowed myself to reflect. And then boom. And I'm like, man, and I love these kids, man, because Renee, you know this, we're in a weird, I shouldn't say weird, but just a different day and age with, the transfer portal. Definitely. Right. And a lot of times, when you give young people an option, to do, sometimes they just do it to do it. They don't even, it's not even oh yeah, I'm gonna go do this because it's just they're just doing it to do it. And again, for these kids that have stuck out with us and stayed true to what we were doing, you can't beat it.
I love it. And I definitely know what you mean, though. I understand that when you're in the thick of it, having everybody locked in at the same time, on the right time, staying healthy. Kenny the Jet Smith actually talked about you. And he said he said that you're a good coach and that people are going to be knocking down the door to play for you, the man. Like a lot of people don't realize that recruiting and everything. Like, I went to UConn because I went to go play for Gino Auriemma. Like, if Gino Auriemma was somewhere else and was recruiting me, I would have been there because I went to UConn to play for Gino Auriemma. Kenny the Jet Smith was basically saying that people are going to go play for you, the man. And so I'm curious, what is it like nowadays? You kind of talked about it a little bit, but recruiting in this new world of name, image, and likeness, recruiting in a sense of now there's the transfer portal. So you could be playing against somebody one day and we're seeing that people are signing to teams the next. So I didn't experience that, that was not like, my parents were pretty much probably the type that was going to be like, if I had any problems while I was at UConn, they would have been like, figure it out. That's kind of where my parents would have been. But what is that like now, recruiting in the climate that we are for college sports?
Renee, it's not like the motto isn't broken, right? It's just a different element that's been added to it. And I think with, coaches, you either going to be intentional about who you bring into your environment or, you're going to just go on talent. And we chose to be really intentional 4 years ago when we had to, because, what we inherited a culture of kind of, saying a losing culture isn't fair, but like just a culture of where there were no standards, there were no habits. And so we were really intentional about who we brought into our environment. And so now when you're recruiting these kids, I think it's even more important to be intentional and to ask real questions, because again, if you give them the option to say, all right, when it gets hard, I can just leave. Well, more times than not, they're going to leave. I ask the question up front, like, look, man, nobody tells you your freshman year of college is going to be your hardest year of your athletic, career up until that point ever. But like the thing that I tell them is like, on those hard days, I'm going to be there for them. On those hard days, I'm not going to turn my back. I tell them all the time, look, man, like the one thing you're going to get loved here every day. It's like your parents, right? Your parents, they love you. They're going to give you hugs. They're going to give you kisses. But when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, they're going to love you hard enough to push you in that direction. And I tell guys all the time, look, if I'm more passionate about your development, if I'm more passionate about your growth, like, don't come here because I'm going to get on your nerves. And so I just think you got to be really intentional about it.
No, that's so true. But first of all, those are the best coaches, because you don't want any content coaches that not paying you no mind. But it also makes me think about, we see different situations going on. You said, I'm a love on you, but I'm also push you. And we see different situations. There's some happening in basketball where players are going to do things when they leave your control, like where they're out and about. We saw Brandon Miller had a situation. We've seen John Morant had a situation. How, as a coach, do you prepare like your team for moments that you can't almost prepare for? Like, how do you and then how do you handle those situations when they do happen?
Yeah, again, Renee, I go back to being intentional about who you put in your environment, right? Because if, we tell these guys all the time, like, for example, just take Chris Youngblood, for example, my starting three man. I told Chris when he came here, Chris, if you only come here for basketball, don't come. All right, because I'm going to get on your nerves, because I'm trying to impact you not only athletically, we're trying to impact you academically, but we're going to try to impact you socially as well, teaching you, the importance of carrying yourself the right way. And the thing that I promised all of them was that, man, every day they came into this environment was that, you were going to have people around you that they're not necessarily the same as you, but they have like mind. Y'all have like minds. Y'all have like goals. Because you and I both know, when you have a team full of people that have similar goals or pulling in the same direction, then you eliminate distractions. You have people that are going to stay focused on what we're really trying to do. And you guys don't win as many national championships as you had at UConn without people who have like minds, right? Like I'm sure Gino and his staff were very intentional in the recruiting process about who they were bringing into that environment. And I think, you got to take that course of action no matter where you are.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. And then, so, you brought up Coach Auriemma, and we're in the whole thick of it in March Madness. And I always say, as fans, March Madness is something that people look forward to all year. We got CBS insider John Rothstein. He be saying like, we sleep in May, like as in like, it's everything. It's exciting from that point of view, but take us inside of what March Madness is like for a coach, for a coach that's preparing for the big game. Cause it's so funny that now I'm on the other side of things, but I've been on one side where it's like March Madness is a whole different world when you in it.
Renee, it is nerve wracking. It's like fun. It's like fun in a sense, right? Because like these kids who, I shouldn't say kids, these guys who sacrifice, time and everything all year round. All right, boom, they get this opportunity to play in, like, I think, which is like the greatest tournament or sporting spectacle in the world, right? All right, and so you're happy for them. But then, you're like, well, man, we got a great opportunity. We got to get prepared, right? And then once you start preparing, now you're like, all right, like, are we doing all the right things? Like in our case, like our conference tournament is a week before everyone else's conference tournament. Like, so when we won our championship on March 5th, it was a whole week there was a whole nother week of conference tournament games before Selection Sunday. So you're just kind of sitting around and trying to get the dudes to really lock in and practice. You got to get creative. It's got to be some individual workout stuff. It can't just be like your normal practice because, they don't know who they playing yet, when they playing, where they playing. And so it's like nerve wracking because like I'm enjoying this podcast, but it's like then you got to do like all this other media stuff. And it's just.
It's okay. You can say this is media too. I like how you threw in there like you.
No. But what I'm saying is like this is just a regular conversation, right? A normal conversation. Yeah. But like, some of the stuff you're doing, you're like, man, why am I doing this? But for a coach, I told our players, we talked about having our headphones on this year, right? Like, man, keep your headphones on, block out the outside noise. And I never forget one of my guys said, man, you sure do talk about keeping the headphones on, but you sure are doing a lot of interviews and media.
And I told him, outside talking.
Right. But what I told him, I said, look, man, you got to keep your headphones on. You got one job. I said, I got three. I said, my first job is to nurture and care for you. The second job is to coach this team. The third job is when you get this opportunity, you've got to promote the university. You know what I mean, as well. And so, like, I have to do those things. And, so it's like once you get there and you're playing the game or you practice and it's fun, but leading up to it, it is nerve wracking.
I definitely been there. I mean, like, even when you get to the Final Four, I just remember, like, I can't wait till we're done with the practices. I can't wait till we're done with the games. Like, I mean, with the media, I just want to get to the game and get to the results.
Play.
Yes, like in play. Right. I've definitely been there. And so I'm curious with everything that's changing now in the world, like there's social media, athletes are empowered. Like, how much do coaches pay attention to player social medias? Like, is that a thing?
No, it's a real thing. And it's not for any other reason than, I talk to these guys a lot about their brand, right? Like, like they don't realize it yet, but I tell them all the time, it's like, you're your own business. Okay. And you don't like, be careful of what you post, be careful of what you repost, be careful of what you retweet, right? Because you don't want to let something that happened when you were 18 affect, you getting a job when you're 32. I was like, so you put it out there on Twitter, you don't even realize it's still out there. And, you mess around and you're like, somebody bring it, well, he said this, and this, I give them examples, it's like the Kevin Hart Oscars thing, give them examples of, and it's a sad deal, but like the guy Henry Ruggs out there with the Raiders a few years ago, it's just like, fellas, like, all of this is out there. It's your responsibility to make sure you avoid these pitfalls and avoid these distractions. But again, it goes back to who you put in your environment, so like I pay attention to it. Like if they on there, like if they post a song, right, that has cursing in it, and I text them, hey man, delete that song. Like that cursing in it. Oh, absolutely.
And how do they
absolutely.
respond?
All right, my bad, coach. But like we set the precedent early. We set the precedent early, like because it's in it's in our rule book. It's like no this, no that, and again, I don't set a whole bunch of rules, but again, I tell them, I said, guys, it's not, it's so our program is represented the right way, but again, it's more so for you,
right?
And you just need to be more aware of what you do and who you're doing it with.
Love that. Okay, my last question, I just wanted to ask, because we see so much coach movement going on with Ed Cooley going to Georgetown, and he talked about like he looked up to Coach Thompson, and there's a bigger meaning behind it. We saw Rick Pitino go to St. John's, and he's a New York guy coaching a New York school. Like, are those things, like as coaches move around, we know that we hear about money and that's all well and good, but when you're coaching, like what are those type of things that you look for in a school? Because that's basically, like you said, you got 3 jobs when you get to that school. And a lot of people were, I would say, upset that Ed Cooley left, his situation. But sometimes there's a bigger calling or a bigger play, like a bigger meaning behind why you want to coach somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I look at it like this. I think when you're looking at a job, it's all about alignment, right? It's all about alignment. Success to certain people looks different. When we got this job 4 years ago, Renee, it wasn't in the shape it needed to be, like across the board, like no culture, within on the court, no culture in the classroom, no culture in the weight room. It was just kind of was what it was. And so when I was at the University of Georgia at the time, and we had just signed Anthony Edwards, who ended up he was the number 1 player in the country that year, but he was the number 1 pick in the draft, obviously. And, Anthony's like a little brother to me. Right. And so, I took this job, but only, like when I was talking to them about, hey, what does success look like? Because everybody, this is crazy. Everybody wants it to happen like that now. Right. And the truth of it is it doesn't happen that way. Right. Especially if you're trying to have something that sustains over time. Right. And that's what I always talked about. I was like, I want something that sustains over time. And when I talked to, my AD, and when I talked to the president at the time, like that was the one thing they said, hey, small wins, right? Yep. Get it right in the classroom, get it right on campus, get it right in the community. And at some point, obviously, we got to get it right on the court. And when I heard that, I said, oh, okay, cool. Like we can do it here, because they like hope like they understand, or at least they come off as like they understand. And so when you're looking at these jobs, I think, for Coach Cooley, that's a big deal. Like Georgetown, and it's nothing against Providence, but like Georgetown is like for like guys like him, guys like us. Like I remember when my brother like was coming out of high school, and he's doing all these in-home visits. Man, we had Dean Smith in our living room. He canceled a visit with Mike Krzyzewski and Duke, but like Nolan Richardson came in there, had some Gators on, right? But like but my favorite home visit is the only one I sat in on, because I couldn't sit there and just listen to them folks talk. But the only home visit I sat in on was John Thompson. I just remember his voice I remember him being so tall and his voice being so deep, but I remember him like talking about the importance of academics, right? And I grew up wanting to go to Georgetown, with Allen Iverson and all of them. But like, so him leaving Providence, going to Georgetown, people are like, well, why would he do that? Georgetown? Well, no, they don't know Georgetown like we know Georgetown.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And so, it's part of it, but it's like, people say, well, you're leaving your kids. And, the thing, again, you're trying to educate and help them understand. But it's like, I tell people all the time, I tell kids all the time. I say, look, if you had an opportunity to get drafted in the first round, like, I don't care if you want to come back. I'm kicking you out of here. You got to go, because you can create generational wealth, right? To that would change your family's life. And so I think when you give it to them in those terms, they understand it a little bit better. But it's still a hard thing, because just like I say I got 3 jobs here, but I also, like, I'm married, we got 3 kids, and I want to, you want to be able to provide for, your family, and you want to be able to provide for them comfortably.
Definitely.
But again, like if it's like somebody can give you as much money as they want, but if it's no alignment, it's no reason to do it, because at the end of the day, you want to enjoy coming to work every day.
Facts.
And that's what I love about Kennesaw.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, Coach Amir Abdur-Rahim, we are going to see your name, hear your name more often, because just listening to you talk, I feel like you're my coach. Like, I feel like I've had a coach like you. I feel like you care, and that's everything that a player wants. They want to feel all of those things. So I thank you for taking time, after a crazy whirlwind of media that you already had to do. I appreciate you taking the time and hopping on Montgomery Co.
No problem. Renee, look, I'm going to give you this quick story. This is how crazy it is. And so we play on Friday, all right? We play Friday. We lose the game. Saturday, or on the bus on the way back, my agent calls me. He says, "Hey, man, CBS in New York wants you to come up and be in the studio with them." Now this is with Brent Stover, Gary Parrish.
That's my
Shelvin
guys.
Mack.
I work there, by the way. That's my guys.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so like, I'm like, okay, when they want me to do it, they was like, tomorrow. I was like, what? So like we drive back Friday. My birthday was Saturday.
Oh yeah,
man,
happy
I'm up
belated
at,
birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I get up like 5:45 on Sunday morning, jumping on the plane to go to New York, and I'm in the studio. I didn't realize all that went on in that studio, Renee.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on.
I was in there from 8:30 to 1 a.m. and like Shelvin and Roy Hibbert were like, "Yeah, this is normal."
This is very normal. Whoa. I could be there from 2 to 1 a.m.
That's how long they have been there.
Yeah, that's normal. I'm heading up there tomorrow, by the way.
Really?
So yes, wow. That's the grind right there. So when I say I feel you, Coach.
Yes, I was like, man. But no, Renee, this was awesome. And again, like, if you say I feel like you feel like you've had a coach like me, I just hope I can get some players that got game like you had. So it works both ways.
Appreciate it. Listen, we are pulling for you. No matter what, we're here now. That's how I feel. Once you're in our stratosphere, our world, we call this this is a family podcast. Everybody that comes on, we family now. So just we're gonna have to catch a game. But this summer, come through. Bring the team.
I will.
We have the Atlanta Dream down here at Gateway. Bring the team. Come through for sure.
We're gonna do it for sure.
All right. Thank you, Coach. All right. So I know I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again after talking to Coach Rahim. Sports brings all of us together. Like, let me give you an example. Nika Mule is a hooper from Croatia that plays in Connecticut for a coach from Italy. And that coach, Gino Ariema, as I'm sure you could assume, said he wouldn't trade Nika for any other player in the nation. Sports is a global connector. I mean, we've all watched the fans and the players, not only just the players, but their families heartbreak when they lose in the tournament. The fan shots at the end of the game are devastating, or just pure happiness, whichever side you're on. And if you like drama, sports is better than any reality TV, whether it's the Texas team coming for Louisville, woman to woman, it doesn't matter. But we're going to cover it all here at MoCo, where it's a generational thing.